From the heart of the Coachella Valley, this is the Palm Springs Real Estate Buzz on KGX with your host, John Sloan from the John Sloan Real Estate Group in La Quinta.
Welcome back. Our next guest is Patrick Summer. He is the owner of General Air Conditioning and Plumbing. And welcome Saturday morning. It's hot out there.
It is.
You guys are really busy. I see your trucks all over the place.
When the temperatures crank, we get rocking and rolling.
Wow. So what's going on out there? What are the biggest things you're seeing with issues related to the air conditioning? You know,
some of the biggest things we see, and we see them all the time, are systems that are not well maintained or have never been maintained, and it's catching up with them. Issues such as poor airflow. It's amazing how common a dirty filter is. That will have tremendous impact on a system. So run the gamut, but airflow is a big issue. Refrigerant's a big issue. And this sand, when it gets windy, getting into the components is a big issue.
Yeah, you know, yesterday my neighbor has his house listed with me, and they're doing inspections. He had one heating and air conditioning guy come out. They said it was low on refrigerant. He had another one come out and said, you don't need refrigerant. What a confusing situation, you know?
Yeah. Refrigerant. So here's a big thing, and here's a real good tip. If you call whatever air conditioning contractor you call out, if they hook gauges up to your system, make sure they're digital gauges. If they're analog gauges, you don't want them working on your system. You need digital gauges this day and age.
Yeah.
Additionally, if they don't check your airflow and measure your static pressures, don't let them work on your system, because there's a lot of times that a poor airflow situation from what we call high static pressures or dirty filters or registers closed off in the home mimic a low refrigerant scenario.
When you talk about airflow, is there something other than the filter issue? I actually had a client call me yesterday, and she said, John, you're my go-to guy. She said, but I got a guy out here working on my air conditioning, and he's suggesting putting something on top of the air conditioning unit that makes the air go higher. Does that make sense?
Okay, so if you're out with the outdoor condenser unit, sounds like what they're speaking about is if the unit's under an overhang or has something above it, putting some sort of diverter on it to get the air out so it can escape, because that hot air is being ejected and being pulled right back down into the system.
And
so that may be it.
Apparently, this is a brand new air conditioning unit, and it's shutting down.
Yeah,
so
sounds like it's cutting out on high pressure, because it's ejecting that hot air. The hot air is not having enough area to escape. It's being pulled back in. It needs to be diverted away. So, and then the airflow internally on the inside of the unit, dirty coils. You know, the typical filter in a home stops rocks and small children. Everything else goes right up into your evaporator coil. And if that gets clogged up and dirty, it cuts down on the performance of your system tremendously.
So you really need to have your system checked out at least once or twice a year, right?
You should do it once a year. Typically, a lot of companies like us, what we do is we split it up into two visits, because you don't want anybody checking your heating when it's 118 degrees out, right? And you really don't want to be checking your cooling if the outdoor temperature's too low, because you're not going to get accurate readings on refrigerant.
All right, so speaking of refrigerant, we know that there is a situation coming up in 2 years that people need to know about, and that is that the R22 Freon basically is going to be more costly, correct?
Yes, it's going to be more costly because it's going to be illegal to manufacture or import into the United States. There's something way back when, the Montreal Protocol, and then the EPA, everybody got together and said this stuff's bad for the environment. Let's phase it out. So they've been phasing it out over the last several years and reducing the amount produced each year, with a total stoppage of production or importing in 2020. And so the price has been going up, but it's about to get really expensive.
What is the best thing a homeowner can do today? Is there a way of doing some kind of a modification with the coil and a newer unit, or just basically redoing the whole thing?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of business in 2 years.
Ultimately, if you've got a system that's running R22, because R410's been around a while, and you've got an issue with it, really, you're either going to Band-Aid it and it's going to get more and more costly, or replace it. And of course, we endorse replacing with a more energy efficient system that uses the new, better for the environment refrigerant.
Okay. What other advice can you be giving people in today's situation with it as hot as what it is?
Well, what I would say is just make sure your condenser is clean, make sure your system's been maintained, make sure you have a clean filter, and understand that a system when it's 118 degrees out is not going to perform the same as when it's
Absolutely.
100 degrees out.
Yeah. You guys have been in business for a long time.
Yeah, we've been around.
Actually, I was watching a commercial last night, and I guess the boy and girl that were involved in those commercials, the girl's actually going to college now, right?
Yeah.
That was just like, wow.
Yeah,
time flies.
they've been around a while, and they're very well known. They're like little local celebrities.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Patrick, I really do appreciate you coming in this morning and telling us about what we should be looking for. Digital
Gauges. Refrigerant
Okay.
gauges.
Okay.
And they check static pressure.
And I think that that's very important information.
Yes.
So, folks, we're talking to Patrick Summer. He is the owner of the General Air Conditioning and Plumbing. And that's a new part of your business, right?
It is. Been doing it for a couple of years, and it's a busy part of our business.
All right. Well, thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
From the heart of the Coachella Valley, this is the Palm Springs Real Estate Buzz on KGX with your host, John Sloan from the John Sloan Real Estate Group in La Quinta.